The room was silent, but it was not the silence of peace. It was the silence of a place that had been abandoned for centuries, a place where time itself seemed afraid to move forward. Dust floated in the air, dancing in the dim blue light that came from walls covered in alien symbols. The human explorer stepped carefully inside. His boots pressed against the metallic floor, and every step made a hollow echo that faded into the endless shadows. He had traveled across ruined star systems, passed through broken gates and walked into forgotten ships. But this place was different. This place felt alive. He could feel the air around him pressing against his skin, as if the room itself was aware of his presence. At the center of the chamber stood a pedestal. Upon it rested a cup carved from crystal that shimmered with unnatural light. The liquid inside the cup glowed softly, like a tiny star trapped in glass. It pulsed as if it had a heartbeat of its own. The explorer's eyes narrowed. His heart began to beat faster. Every story he had heard about alien relics came back to him in that moment. They were treasures, yes, but they were also traps. The line between gift and curse was thin, and one wrong step could end a man's life. He moved closer, one step at a time, until he was standing before the pedestal. The liquid seemed to call to him. He did not hear a sound, but he felt a pull deep inside his mind, an invisible hand reaching into his thoughts. It whispered without words, "Drink." His hand trembled as he reached out. The cup was cold, colder than it should have been. He lifted it carefully, feeling its weight. The glow from the liquid shone on his face, painting his skin in shades of blue and white. For a moment he felt powerful just holding it. Then the silence broke. A voice filled the chamber, deep and heavy, like thunder trapped in stone. It did not come from a throat. It came from the walls, from the air, from the ship itself. "If you drink this," the voice said, "you will cease being human." The explorer froze. The cup shook in his hand, and the liquid shimmered brighter as if reacting to the words. He turned his head quickly, searching the shadows. There was no one there. The voice spoke again, sharper this time. "Turn back. Leave this place. This gift is not for you." But the explorer was not a man who turned back. His whole life had been built on stepping where no human dared to step. He had faced storms that ripped apart fleets, walked through the ruins of civilizations older than Earth itself, and lived to tell the tale. Warnings had never stopped him before. Why should they stop him now? Still, the words dug into his mind. "You will cease being human." What did that mean? Would he die? Would he change? Would he become something better or something worse? He looked at the liquid again. It was beautiful. Too beautiful to belong in a dead place like this. It was like holding a piece of eternity, something beyond the reach of normal men. He could feel its promise, power, knowledge, transformation. And yet, what was the cost? The explorer closed his eyes. Memories of his past life flickered in the darkness behind his eyelids. He saw his family far away on Earth waiting for him. He saw the faces of his crew, men and women who had trusted him to lead them into the unknown. He saw the stars themselves shining with cold light, daring him to rise higher than any human had ever risen. His hand tightened around the cup. The voice grew louder, almost desperate now. "Do not drink. You cannot return. Once it is done, the man you are will be gone forever." The explorer opened his eyes. His breathing slowed, his heartbeat steadied. He stared at the glowing liquid, and in that moment he felt both fear and hunger. Fear of losing himself. Hunger for something greater than himself. The silence stretched. The chamber waited. The universe seemed to hold its breath. Then he raised the cup closer to his lips. The glow of the liquid reflected in his eyes, making them shine with unnatural light. His hand was steady now, his decision clear. The last whisper of the voice echoed softly, almost like a plea. "You will regret this." But the explorer did not stop. The screen fades here. The audience sees him about to drink, but not what happens next. Suspense hangs heavy in the air. The cup touched his lips. At first, the liquid felt cool, almost refreshing. But the moment it slid down his throat, fire exploded inside his chest. His body jerked. The cup slipped from his fingers and shattered on the metallic floor, scattering shards that glowed faintly before fading into nothing. He dropped to his knees, clutching his chest. It felt as if his veins had turned into burning wires carrying lightning through his body. His eyes widened, glowing faint blue as the liquid spread inside him. He gasped for breath, but the air felt too thin, too heavy, too alien. He wanted to scream, but no sound came. Only the pounding of his heart filled the chamber. It was too fast, too strong. Each beat shook his body like a hammer against steel. His skin prickled, then rippled as if something beneath it was moving. The voice returned. This time it was not calm. It was sharp, almost like anger. "You fool. You defied the warning. Now you are lost." He collapsed onto the cold floor. His hands slammed against the metal, leaving deep dents where his fists landed. His eyes widened in shock. He had never been that strong. His breath came in short bursts, steaming in the air though the room was not cold. The glow in his veins began to spread across his body. Thin blue lines crawled under his skin, mapping themselves like rivers across his arms and neck. His vision blurred, then sharpened and sharper than ever before. He could see the tiny cracks in the walls, the faint dust particles swirling in the air, the smallest details of symbols etched into the metal. And then he heard it. Whispers. Not from the voice that had warned him, but from somewhere else. The walls spoke. The floor hummed. The ship itself sang in a language older than human history. The words were not words, yet he understood. It was knowledge, endless knowledge pouring into his mind. He staggered to his feet, his body trembling but stronger than before. His reflection in a shard of broken crystal caught his eye. He gasped. His pupils were no longer round. They had stretched into thin, sharp slits, glowing faintly like the eyes of a predator. He reached out to touch his face. His skin felt the same, but the man staring back was no longer fully human. The voice tried again, softer now. "Stop using it. Resist the power. Perhaps a part of you can still be saved." But he laughed. Not with joy, not with humor, but with something darker. A laugh that did not sound like his own. "Saved?" he whispered. His voice carried an echo as if another being spoke with him. "I am beyond saving." He clenched his fist and sparks of blue energy danced across his knuckles. The sound of raw power filled the air. For the first time, he did not feel like a man standing inside an alien ship. He felt like the ship itself recognized him, accepted him. Yet deep in his chest, fear still stirred. The warning repeated in his mind. "You will cease being human." He looked down at his hands again. Strong, deadly, inhuman. Was this what he had wanted? To go beyond limits? Or had he just traded his soul for strength? The chamber around him changed. The symbols on the walls lit up, glowing brighter. The air thickened, heavy with energy. He could sense something, not with his eyes, but with his mind. A presence, a watcher. Something was coming. His instincts screamed. He was not alone. From the far side of the chamber, footsteps echoed. Slow, heavy, metallic. A tall figure stepped into the light. Its body was armored in black steel, its face hidden behind a mask shaped like a skull. Its eyes glowed with the same blue light that now ran through his veins. The figure froze when it saw him. For a long moment, silence stretched between them. Finally, the alien soldier spoke, its voice rough and shocked. You drank it?" The explorer did not answer. His breathing slowed, his body steady. He no longer felt pain. He felt only power. The soldier raised its weapon, a spear of glowing metal. Its voice was half fear, half rage. "You were warned. That drink was never meant for humans. It was meant to bind, to control, but now you are something else." The explorer tilted his head slightly, his glowing eyes fixed on the alien. His lips curled into a cold smile. "Then perhaps," he said softly, "I am something you cannot control." The alien hissed, lowering into a battle stance. The air between them thickened, filled with tension. The explorer flexed his hands. Blue sparks cracked across his fingers. For the first time, he felt like he was standing at the edge of something greater than human destiny. For the first time, he understood what defiance meant. And yet in the quiet corner of his mind, a question whispered, how much of him was still human? The chamber darkened. The two figures stared at each other, locked in silence. Somewhere deep in the ship, something stirred awake, responding to the new force born inside him. The screen fades, leaving the audience with the weight of suspense. The soldier's glowing spear pointed directly at him, but the explorer did not move. His eyes burned with cold light, and for the first time in his life, fear had left him. Not because he felt safe, but because he no longer knew what fear was. The alien soldier hissed and lunged forward. The spear sliced through the air with deadly speed. The explorer raised his hand without thinking. His fingers closed around the glowing blade, and it stopped. Metal screamed against his grip, but he held it as if it were nothing more than glass. The soldier's eyes widened. No human should have been able to do that. The explorer looked down at his hand, shocked. The blade glowed hot, but his skin did not burn. Instead, faint blue sparks crawled across his palm. His body had changed. With one push, he snapped the weapon in half. The sound echoed through the chamber like thunder. The alien stumbled back, disbelief written in its glowing eyes. The explorer stepped forward, his movements faster than thought. In an instant, he was in front of the soldier. His hand struck the armored chest. The blow was light, almost casual, yet the soldier flew across the chamber and crashed into the wall. Metal bent under the impact. Dust rained down. The alien groaned, struggling to rise. But the explorer did not feel triumph. He felt nothing. His heart did not race with battle. His lips did not curl in victory. Instead, he only noticed how strange his body felt. Every muscle moved with unnatural ease. Every sound in the chamber rang clear in his ears. The faint hum of energy, the scrape of dust, even the shallow breaths of the wounded soldier. He turned to the broken shard of crystal on the floor. For a moment, his reflection stared back at him. But it was not his face. The eyes were too sharp, too cold. His skin glowed faintly in the shadows. He saw veins like blue rivers running under his flesh. He staggered back, whispering to himself, "What am I becoming?" The voice returned, low and heavy. "I warned you. You are no longer human." He clenched his fists, his mind torn between denial and acceptance. He wanted to argue, to shout that he was still himself. But deep inside, he knew the truth. The man he had been, the human explorer who had laughed, feared, loved, was already slipping away. The alien soldier pulled itself from the broken wall. Its armor was cracked, but its eyes still burned with anger. You're cursed. That drink was not made for your kind. Every moment you use its power, you lose more of yourself. The explorer looked at his glowing hands. The soldier's words cut deep, but another part of him whispered differently. This power was not a curse. It was freedom. For the first time, he could stand against enemies far beyond humanity. For the first time, he felt limitless. He stepped closer to the soldier. "If this is a curse," he said, his voice calm but sharp, "then I will use it against those who try to enslave us." The alien's eyes widened. "You do not understand. The drink does not give freedom. It gives control. It was made to bend minds, to shape them into weapons for our masters. You think you are strong, but soon you will not even belong to yourself." The explorer paused. A flicker of unease sparked in his chest. Was that true? Was he already a weapon, his choices no longer his own? He remembered the whispers in the chamber, the strange language that had filled his mind. He had understood it without learning. It had been given to him, forced into him. He shook his head violently. "No, my will is mine," the soldier hissed. "Then prove it. Fight not me, but the hunger that grows inside you. Fight it, or you will be nothing but a shell." The explorer's hands trembled. He looked at the soldier, then at the glowing veins in his arms. Hunger. Yes, he could feel it now. A strange craving not for food, but for more. More energy, more knowledge, more power. It whispered to him like a lover promising eternity. He closed his eyes. For a moment, silence filled him. He remembered Earth, the stars above his home, the soft touch of rain, the warmth of laughter. They felt distant, like fading memories from another life. When he opened his eyes again, the chamber seemed smaller, weaker. He felt stronger than ever, and yet emptier than he had ever been. The alien soldier stepped back in fear. "You are already changing." The explorer turned his gaze toward the glowing walls. The symbols lit up as if answering his presence. He could read them now. They spoke of maps, hidden gateways, and ancient wars. His mind absorbed them like water into dry soil. He smiled faintly, but the smile carried no warmth. His voice was calm, steady, and cold. "Then let the change come. If humanity must face monsters, then let me become the monster they fear." The chamber trembled. The walls pulsed with blue light. Somewhere deep inside the ship, machinery stirred awake as if it had been waiting for this moment. The explorer stood tall, his glowing eyes fixed on the future. He was no longer only a man. He was something more, and something less. The first change had begun. The chamber pulsed with blue light, and the alien soldier stared at him with a mixture of fear and rage. The explorer's eyes glowed faintly, his veins shining like rivers of energy under his skin. He no longer looked like a man. He looked like something between human and machine, between flesh and energy. The soldier hissed, tightening the broken half of the spear still in its grip. "You are an abomination," it spat. The liquid was meant to bind slaves, not create. "This." The explorer tilted his head, studying the soldier with cold curiosity. His breathing was calm, too calm, like someone who had already let go of human weakness. Yet deep inside, a faint whisper reminded him that he was not alone. Something unseen was watching, waiting. The walls trembled. From hidden doors along the chamber, heavy footsteps echoed. One, then another, then many. The explorer turned slowly. Shadows moved across the glowing walls, tall figures stepping out of the darkness. They were soldiers. Not one, but dozens. Their armor was black, carved with strange runes, their faces hidden behind masks of bone-like steel. Each carried a weapon that glowed faintly with blue fire. Their eyes shone with the same light as his own veins. The explorer's body stiffened. These were not random guards. They were hunters, and they were here for him. The first soldier spoke again, its voice sharp with anger. "You see now? You are not free. You are a beacon. The moment you drank, they felt it. You are a signal, and now the hunters will never stop." The explorer's chest tightened. He remembered the pull he had felt when the liquid spread through him, the sense that the ship itself had awakened. Now he understood. His transformation had not only changed him, it had called them. The hunters stepped closer, surrounding him in a circle. Their weapons hummed with deadly power. Their movements were not rushed. They were patient, confident. They had done this before. The alien soldier raised its cracked mask toward him. "You think you defied fate by drinking, but in truth you walked into a chain stronger than any prison. Now both your kind and mine will fear you. You are the enemy of all." The words stabbed deeper than the weapons pointed at him. For a moment doubt filled his mind. He thought of Earth, of the people he had left behind. If they saw him now, glowing veins, inhuman eyes, cold voice, would they even recognize him? Or would they call him a monster just as these aliens did? The leader of the hunters stepped forward. Its voice was calm, commanding. "Surrender and we will take you alive. Resist and you will be destroyed. Either way, you belong to us now." The explorer's fists clenched. Blue sparks danced across his knuckles. The hunger inside him stirred again, louder this time, whispering for battle. It urged him to fight, to tear, to burn. The temptation was strong, too strong. He closed his eyes for a second. In that silence, he searched for his humanity. A memory flickered. His family's laughter, the warmth of sunlight on Earth, the voice of his crew trusting him. That memory was fading, slipping further away each time he used this power. But he could not surrender. Not to them, not to anyone. His eyes snapped open, glowing brighter than before. He stepped forward and the hunters stiffened. His voice was steady, cold as steel. "I don't belong to anyone." The leader raised its weapon, but before it could strike, the explorer moved. Faster than human eyes could follow, he blurred across the chamber. His fist slammed into the ground and the floor cracked open with a thunderous roar. Energy exploded outward in a shockwave, throwing hunters off their feet. Sparks lit the chamber as weapons clashed against his glowing hands. He moved like lightning, striking with power no human should hold. One by one, hunters fell, their armor shattering, their masks breaking. The alien soldier who had warned him watched in silence, fear etched into its glowing eyes. Yet as he fought, the explorer felt something inside him slip further away. Each strike was not only against the hunters, but against his own humanity. His heart no longer pounded with emotion. It pounded only with power. The leader of the hunters rose again, its armor cracked, its voice filled with fury. "You cannot fight forever. Every moment you resist, the drink consumes more of you. Soon there will be nothing left but the weapon we designed." The explorer's chest heaved. He looked down at his hands. They glowed brighter now, almost too bright. Veins of light crawling across his body like living fire. He knew the leader spoke truth. The more he used it, the less of himself remained. But stopping was no longer an option. He raised his head, meeting the leader's burning eyes. His voice was a whisper, but it carried through the chamber like thunder. "Then let me be your weapon." "But not for you, for humanity." The chamber shook again, walls cracking under the pressure of energy pouring from him. The hunters froze, unsure whether to strike or flee. The air vibrated with power, and somewhere deeper in the ship, alarms screamed to life. The hidden enemy had revealed itself. and the war had only begun. The chamber was chaos. Broken armor scattered across the floor. Smoke rose from shattered walls, and faint blue sparks lingered in the air like restless ghosts. The hunters had fallen, their bodies twisted, their weapons cracked and useless. The explorer stood in the center, his chest rising and falling with steady breaths. His glowing veins pulsed like rivers of fire under his skin. He had won, but victory did not feel like triumph. It felt heavy, cold, and hollow. The alien soldier who had warned him before crawled to its feet, its mask cracked and broken. It looked at him with wide, fearful eyes. "You are no longer human," it whispered. "You are something else. Something worse." The explorer turned slowly, his gaze locking on the soldier. For a moment, silence stretched between them. Then he spoke, his voice calm but deeper, as if another presence spoke with him. "Maybe worse. Maybe better. But no one can stop what I am now." As his words echoed, the walls around them came alive. Symbols carved into the metal pulsed with light, one after another until the entire chamber glowed. The ground vibrated under his feet. He staggered slightly, clutching his head. A flood of voices filled his mind, voices that were not his own. They spoke in the alien tongue, a language that should have been impossible to understand. Yet he understood. The words poured into his brain like fire, showing him things beyond human knowledge. Maps of stars, networks of hidden stations, armies waiting in the dark between worlds. His body stiffened as the knowledge forced itself deeper. He saw Earth, small and fragile, marked on one of the maps. Strange signals surrounded it like a net. Alien eyes watching silently. He gasped, his chest tight. Humanity was not alone. They were prey, observed, studied, and judged. The alien soldier limped closer, its voice weak but sharp. "Do you see now? That drink was not made to help you. It was made to make you part of them. Every secret they hold, every plan they built, it is now inside you. But you are not free. You are infected." The explorer dropped to one knee, his fingers digging into the cracked floor. The voices screamed louder, filling his head with alien thoughts, alien hunger. For a moment he felt himself slipping, his human self drowning beneath waves of power and knowledge. He slammed his fists into the ground. The chamber shook violently, cracks racing across the floor like lightning.
"No," he shouted.
His voice was layered now, human and inhuman together. "I will not be your puppet." The voices paused. The glow dimmed. For 1 second, silence returned, and in that silence, something shifted. The explorer rose slowly, his eyes burning brighter. He was still himself, but not fully. He was connected into the ship, to the maps, to the alien network itself. He could feel pathways stretching across the stars, hidden gates waiting for someone with his blood to open them. The alien soldier stared in disbelief. You resisted?" He looked at his glowing hands. "I control it," he said, though even he was not certain if that was true. The soldier shook its head. "No one controls it. The more you use it, the more you lose yourself. It will take everything, your memories, your soul. It is already happening, isn't it?" The explorer froze. For a moment he tried to summon a memory, the sound of his daughter's laughter, the warmth of his wife's voice, the faces of his crew. The images came, but they were faint, like pictures fading in sunlight. He felt a hollow ache in his chest. The soldier was right. Piece by piece his humanity was slipping away. But another part of him whispered louder. Power, knowledge, strength to protect them all. If the cost was his humanity, was it worth paying? He turned back to the glowing walls. His eyes scanned the maps again. He saw movement, fleets preparing, armies gathering. Earth was in danger and no one knew. Humanity was blind, weak, unprepared. He clenched his fists, sparks of energy bursting across his arms. His voice was steady, colder than before. "Then I will pay the cost. If losing myself is the price to keep Earth alive, so be it." The alien soldier recoiled. "You are mad. Do you not see? You will save them, but they will not see you as savior. They will see you as monster." The explorer turned his glowing eyes toward the soldier. "Then I will be both." The chamber's light intensified, burning brighter than ever. Machinery deep in the ship rumbled awake, responding to his presence. The ground shook violently as doors opened along the walls, revealing corridors filled with more glowing symbols. The explorer stepped forward, his shadow stretching long across the chamber. He felt the ship obeying him now, recognizing him as its master. He was no longer a simple man. He was the key, the weapon, the curse. And as the walls whispered their secrets, he realized something far worse. The hunters had only been the beginning. Greater enemies were waiting in the dark. They already knew what he had become. The awakening had begun. The ship shook as alarms screamed through the corridors. Red lights flared across the walls, flashing like angry eyes. The explorer stood tall in the chamber, his glowing veins pulsing brighter than the lights around him. He had awakened something, and now it was coming for him. The alien soldier backed away, fear in its voice. "You do not understand. They are coming. The masters will not let you live. You are a threat now." The explorer's eyes narrowed. "Then let them come." The floor rumbled beneath his feet. Metal doors split open, and a rush of air swept through the chamber. From the shadows, more hunters emerged. Not dozens this time, but hundreds. Their armor shone with the same blue glow, their weapons raised high. They filled the room like an endless tide, their footsteps shaking the ground. The explorer clenched his fists. Sparks of energy shot across his arms, burning the air with crackling sound. His heart no longer pounded with fear. It beat with cold purpose. He was not fighting for survival anymore. He was fighting for Earth. The hunters charged. The first wave came fast, their weapons striking from every side. But he was faster. His hand slashed through the air and energy burst outward in a shockwave that sent bodies flying like broken dolls. The ground split open, glowing cracks racing across the floor. The second wave surrounded him, but his body moved like lightning. He struck with fists that broke metal, with feet that shattered the ground beneath him. Sparks and smoke filled the air, and the chamber thundered with every blow. But with each strike, he felt something inside slip further away. The more he used the power, the less he felt. No anger, no fear, no joy. Just silence. A cold, empty silence where his humanity used to be. The alien soldier shouted from the corner. "Stop, you will destroy yourself." He ignored it. His glowing eyes locked on the leader of the hunters, a massive figure in heavy armor, its weapon burning like a star. The leader's voice cut through the chaos. "You cannot win. You are already ours. The drink binds you. Every strike you make feeds us." The explorer froze for a second. Feed them? He looked down at his arms, glowing brighter than ever. Was his battle making him stronger, or making them stronger? The thought stabbed deep, but there was no time to hesitate. The leader charged, swinging its weapon with the weight of thunder. The explorer raised his arm. Sparks clashed against sparks. The chamber shook as their power collided, walls cracking, ceiling trembling. For a moment, the fight seemed endless. Blow after blow, strike after strike. The sound of war echoed like drums of doom. The hunter leader's voice roared with every clash. "You are not human. You are not free. You are ours." The explorer's voice answered, sharp as steel. "I am no one's." With a final burst of strength, he drove his fist into the leader's chest. The armor shattered. Energy exploded outward in a blinding flash, ripping through the chamber. Hunters screamed as the shockwave sent them crashing into walls. The floor split wide, glowing cracks stretching like veins of fire. The leader staggered, its armor broken, its mask falling away. Behind it was no face, only light. A hollow shell powered by alien energy. The explorer's eyes widened. They were not soldiers. They were machines. Controlled. Bound. Just like the drink had tried to bind him. Rage flickered in his chest. But it was not human rage. It was something colder. Something alien. He felt the hunger rise again, stronger now. Whispering to finish them all, to burn everything, to claim his place as master of this power. He almost gave in. His glowing hands trembled, energy flooding his veins, begging to be unleashed. He could end it all in one final strike. But then, a memory flickered, his daughter's laugh, his wife's gentle voice, his crew's trust. The images were faint, but they were still there. Fragile, fading, yet real. He staggered, torn between two paths. Become the weapon completely. Or fight not just the hunters, but the hunger inside. His body shook as if the war outside was nothing compared to the war within. The leader raised its weapon again. Its voice was hollow. "Choose power, or death." The explorer's eyes burned, but this time they did not shine only with alien light. A faint trace of human fire remained. His voice was steady, carrying both steel and sorrow. "I choose humanity." He struck again, not with hunger but with will. His fist crashed into the leader's chest, not to claim its power, but to end it. The explosion tore through the chamber, shattering walls, collapsing the ceiling. Hunters fell in silence, their glowing bodies flickering out like dying stars. When the dust settled, the explorer stood alone in the ruins. His body glowed brighter than ever, but inside he felt emptier than before. He had won, but how much of him was left? The alien soldier crawled closer, voice weak. "You saved yourself, but at what cost?" The explorer turned his cold, glowing eyes toward the soldier. His voice was quiet but heavy. "Earth is safe. That's enough." The ground shook again. Far above, he could sense more ships moving in the darkness of space. The war was not over. This was only the beginning. The final battle of the chamber was done. But the battle for his soul was far from finished. The chamber was silent now, broken and ruined. Smoke curled upward from shattered walls. The glowing cracks in the floor dimmed slowly, fading into ash. The hunters were gone, their hollow shells lying still. The explorer stood in the center of the destruction. His body glowed brighter than ever, blue light crawling under his skin like rivers of fire. His chest rose and fell, but his breathing was calm, too calm. He had survived the final battle, yet he felt no victory. The alien soldier leaned against the wall, its armor cracked beyond repair. Its voice was weak, almost fading. "You ended them. You destroyed the hunters. But look at yourself. You are not the man who walked into this ship." The explorer lowered his gaze to his hands. They pulsed with energy, too strong to hide. He tried to recall the warmth of sunlight, the sound of laughter, the weight of his own humanity. But those memories slipped like water through his fingers. He remembered them, yes, but he could not feel them anymore. The soldier's words stabbed like knives. "You have saved nothing. You cannot return home. When your people see you, they will not see a hero. They will see a monster." He closed his glowing eyes. For a long moment, silence hung between them. He wanted to argue, to shout that he was still human. But the truth was undeniable. His reflection in the broken shards of crystal showed a figure both man and alien, something caught in between. Yet when he opened his eyes, he lifted his head high. His voice was calm, heavy, but unshaken. "Even if they see a monster, Earth will still live. Humanity will still breathe. That is enough." The soldier tilted its head. "You would sacrifice yourself so they can live, even if they turn against you?" He stepped closer to the broken wall where the star map still glowed faintly. His eyes scanned them, and he saw again what he had learned. Fleets gathering in the darkness, gateways leading to hidden strongholds, alien empires preparing for war. Earth was not safe yet. The hunters had only been the first test. The true masters were still out there. He touched the map with a trembling hand. The ship responded, opening new pathways deeper into the unknown. He felt them call to him, doors only he could walk through now. "Yes," he whispered. "Even if they hate me, even if they never remember my name, I will fight for them." But deep inside he knew the truth. Each time he used this power, more of his humanity would vanish. Soon there would be nothing left. No warmth, no memory, no soul. Only the weapon. The alien soldier spoke again, its voice faint as life slipped away. "Then this is your last choice. To fight for them as a man, and die as a man. Or fight forever as a weapon, and never again be human." The words echoed inside him. The choice. The final choice. He closed his eyes. He saw Earth one last time in his mind. Oceans shining under sunlight. Children running under open skies, families laughing, dreaming, hoping. He saw his daughter's smile. His wife's touch. His crew's loyalty. Fading images, but still there. A tear slid down his face, glowing faint blue. Was it his last human tear? The ship's walls pulsed, waiting for his decision. He opened his eyes. His voice was steady, though sorrow lingered within it. "If I must lose myself so they can remain themselves, then let me be lost," the ship answered with a roar. The corridors lit up, the machinery deep within it fully awakening. Pathways opened toward the stars, gateways to battlefields waiting across galaxies. The explorer stepped forward, his body glowing like a living star. He was no longer simply human. He was something more and something less. The alien soldier's voice broke into a whisper. "You are the savior they will never know. The monster they will never forgive." The explorer paused at the edge of the glowing pathway. His back turned, his voice low. "Maybe, but history is written by survivors. Let them survive." And with that, he walked into the light. The ship carried him into the unknown, vanishing into the darkness between stars. Behind him, Earth remained safe, for now. Ahead of him, endless war waited. He had defied the warning. He had drunk the liquid. He had ceased being human. But in the silence of space, his last whisper lingered. I was human once. And I chose humanity, even as it cost me my own. The screen fades, leaving only the glow of stars and the question that cannot be answered. Was he still a hero? Or had humanity's savior become its greatest monster?